I remember that day as if it were today. The clock was ticking slowly, almost as if time itself refused to move. I was standing by the window of my small flat in Liverpool, staring at the gray sky that hung above the city. It was the city where I dreamed of becoming someone successful, someone who would make a difference. But instead of leaving a mark, I was the one slowly fading away, piece by piece, swallowed by disappointment and silence. I used to believe success was simple. Work hard, believe in your dream, and the universe will meet you halfway. But life had other plans. My job failed, my project collapsed, and the friends I once thought would stand beside me disappeared, one after another. And then there was her, the girl I thought was my other half, my safe place, my tomorrow. She left when I needed her most. I used to think I couldn't breathe without her, and when she was gone, I realized I wasn't just losing her, I was losing myself. Those nights in Liverpool were long and heavy. I barely slept, not because sleep had abandoned me, but because my thoughts wouldn't let me rest. The city lights outside my window flickered like they were mourning with me. Everything felt distant, muted, colorless. Then one night, I made a decision. I packed my old suitcase and sat quietly, looking around my small apartment. It was the same place that had witnessed my laughter once, my plans, my hopes. But now it was only a shell of memories. I wrote a note to myself. Sometimes you have to leave, not because you are weak, but because your soul needs a new beginning. I folded the note and slipped it into my pocket. My hands trembled as I zipped my bag. A single tear slid down my face, not from weakness, but from the pain of saying goodbye to a version of myself I had outgrown. At dawn, I took a cab to the airport. The streets were empty, washed in a soft mist, and the city looked half asleep. When I reached the terminal, the air was still, as if the whole world had paused just for a moment. When I finally boarded the plane, I sat by the window, watching the clouds drift outside. Liverpool slowly disappeared beneath me, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something loosen inside my chest. Maybe this was what freedom felt like. Not joy, not excitement, but release. As I sat there, lost in thought, I heard a soft voice next to me. "Excuse me, could I get a cup of tea?" I turned my head, and that was the moment everything changed. She was sitting right beside me, a girl with the kind of face you only see in dreams, quiet, luminous, like the moonlight that touches you without asking for permission. There was a peace in her presence, a stillness that somehow reached straight into my heart. For a second, I forgot everything. The failures, the heartbreak, the loneliness, they all dissolved in the warmth of that single glance. The flight attendant approached and smiled. "Would you like some tea, sir?" she asked. I reached for the cup, but my hands were still trembling, and the tea almost spilled. The girl next to me laughed, a soft musical laugh, and for the first time in months, I laughed too. I looked at her and said, "I guess destiny just tried to embarrass me." She smiled and replied, "Maybe destiny was only trying to start a conversation." We both laughed, and for a moment it felt like we had known each other forever. I couldn't explain it, but there was something familiar in her eyes, something that felt like home. We talked. She told me she was from a small town, that she loved rain, books, and the quiet moments before dawn. I told her about Liverpool, about my dreams and the things I had lost along the way. She listened, not with pity, but with warmth, like someone who truly understood what it meant to be broken and still hopeful. Hours passed like minutes. The plane was heading to Edinburgh, but to me it felt like we were floating between worlds, somewhere between what was and what could be. Every time she smiled, I felt life returning to me, drop by drop. Then, the captain's voice came through the speakers, announcing that we were about to land. My heart sank. I didn't want the journey to end. I didn't want to lose this strange, beautiful moment that had found me when I least expected it. I turned to her and said softly, "Would you believe me if I told you I was ready to give up everything? And today is the first time I felt that life can still be beautiful?" She looked at me, her voice calm but certain. "Maybe because you decided to leave, life decided to meet you halfway."
I didn't know what to say. Her words hit something deep inside me, something sacred. When the plane touched down in Edinburgh, the sky outside was a pale gold. The light of early evening washed over the hills, and for a moment, it felt like the city was welcoming me home, even though I had never been there before. We stood together in the aisle, waiting to disembark. I wanted to say something, anything, but the words felt too small for what I felt. Once we stepped out into the airport, I looked at her and said with a shy smile, "Would you maybe like to have coffee before we go our separate ways, just to make the moment last a little longer?" She laughed gently. "Why not?" We found a small cafe inside the terminal. The noise of people rushing around faded into the background, and it was just us, two strangers who somehow didn't feel like strangers anymore. We talked for hours about dreams, about pain, about the strange ways life can break you and heal you at the same time. And with every word, I felt something inside me shift. Maybe it wasn't love, not yet, but it was something pure, something alive. The sun began to set, painting the sky over Edinburgh in shades of orange and violet. The light reflected in her eyes, and I thought to myself, maybe some endings are just disguised beginnings. Eventually, we both knew it was time to go. We promised to see each other the next day, though neither of us knew if we truly would. Still, the promise was enough. When I stepped outside the airport, the cold air touched my face, but for the first time in years, I didn't feel the chill. I looked up at the sky, now soft and dim, and whispered to myself, "If this was a coincidence, then let it be the most beautiful one." I walked through the streets of a city I'd never known, feeling a quiet warmth blooming inside me. I didn't know where life was leading me or if I'd ever see her again, but something in me had changed. Maybe destiny doesn't shout. Maybe it whispers, in the laughter of a stranger, in the warmth of shared silence, in the moment you decide to leave everything behind and somehow find exactly what your soul was looking for. That night, as I reached my new apartment in Edinburgh, I stood by the window, looking at the distant lights of the city, and I realized something simple yet profound. We don't meet people by accident. Every encounter, no matter how brief, carries a reason, a message, a tiny miracle in disguise. I don't know where she is now or what tomorrow will bring, but I know this. On that flight from Liverpool to Edinburgh, destiny sat beside me, wearing a smile that looked a lot like hope.